I grew up in the high Sierras, living off the land with a family who were and very strong environmentalists and very interested in being resourceful and finding alternative ways of living on the planet long before the hippie movement. And so I have a connection to that, but also I grew up with the reservation Indians. On the reservation near me, I used to go and play with them when I was a child. And I have a deep love of the Native American people and understand a lot of their wisdom. And so it's no surprise that that finds its way into my work. I did representational work in the beginning. I did florals and landscapes and figures and waterscapes, and they just kept getting more and more abstract naturally. And so I found that eventually only the skeleton of the image was left, and most of the page or most of the sculpture was more abstract than realistic. And I think ever since the advent of the camera, artists have been less interested in replicating or in imitating or trying to depict something that the camera can capture beautifully. So the more I do this, I just find that the most interesting thing is bringing the inner life out in expression in an abstract way, more like poetry or dance. I'm letting whatever's deep inside of me come out, and it's coming right out of my gut and my heart and my bones sometimes. And it's not a superficial thing, even though it may, because it's abstract, it may sometimes be seen as a design or something that would be pretty on a wall. It's coming from a very deep place, and I think being able to dance it out, or being able to sit in meditation, or writing poetry and seeing the rhythm of words on a page, all relate to what I'm doing with the canvas. I can tell you a little bit about my background as an artist. I started, I think, with my mother when I was very small. She would just use plain paper, any plain paper, whether it was a bag, she'd cut off the edges until it was a flat page, and sometimes just use a little pad of a tablet of plain paper and draw every page for me as a color book. Instead of going out and buying a color book, I'd get to watch her draw all these things, and I would say, I want a dog, or I want a cat, or I want a mommy and a baby, and she would draw it for me so I could color it. And that started around age 4. And so that was the beginning of realizing that you didn't have to buy everything, and that we were creators and we could make it the way we wanted it. I think all this comes from a core breaking out, a core need to break out of the constraints of the shoulds and the should nots, and really find one's own or my own values and expressing that in my own way. And what was always exciting to me about art from the very beginning was, here's a place where I can do it any way I want to, where I can make it however I want to make it. And that's an expression of the empowerment that we need in order to change things in the world.